Welcome to Book Talks, the show that speaks to education, health, entrepreneurship, and so much more.
Welcome, Zanzi, to yet another fun episode of Books Talk. I'm your host, Tabani, and today in studio we have the founder of Kwanda Snooker, Gomolemo. Welcome to the show, Gomolemo.
Thank you very much for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm excited because we have a new setup today, a pool table, so it's quite exciting.
Yes.
So, Gomolemo, can you please tell us more about yourself and the work that you do and why we have this beautiful table over here today?
Yeah, 100%. Yes, so I'm originally from the Northwest. I come from a village/township called Makapanstad.
Okay.
And that's where I grew up. I grew up, I was raised by my mom. And of course, I also grew up with my grandmother as well, who played an instrumental role in my upbringing. So that's my background. That's where I grew up. And obviously, as the years go on, you sort of discover yourself and discover, what you like and what your purpose. So I think from an early age, I think I more or less knew that entrepreneurship and business was where I'm destined to be. Mainly because, as I said, my grandmother was running, a small establishment at home where people would come and, whether it's quarters or whether it's juice or whether whether it's the older people, they come to drink, have some beer and so on. So that's the kind of environment I grew up in, and obviously it played an instrumental role in sort of shaping my perspective. So yeah, that's just a bit about me.
Then what did you study?
So when I finished matric, right, I did quite well in business, in commerce subjects. So I then went into, I studied financial information systems. But due to, lack of funds and also the need to sort of try to immediately start working and generating income, I needed to, look to something that could bring me revenue or income immediately, unlike having to wait 4 years to study something. And in those 4 years, you're actually struggling to make ends meet and struggling to have food.
So then, time.
Yes, yeah. So then I saw an opportunity in media because I'd always been a sport fanatic and I always enjoyed writing as well. So I then approached the Pretoria News in the CBD. I went there and said, look, this is what I do. I brought my portfolio, to show them some of my work. And I said, can I please volunteer, just to be around. You don't have to pay me, just send me around, let me do the things that you guys don't want to do. So I think that's how, I sort of got started. And then that was my entry point into the world of media.
Yeah.
And then, that's where I found myself in media, and then went on to study communication and sort of hone my craft and learn more about the industry. So I'm not in a foreign setting, as I'm in studio with you here. Yeah, so right up my alley. Yeah.
So wait, were you a journalist?
Yeah, so I worked as a sports writer.
Yeah, sports writer.
Yeah.
I like to ask a former or journalist this: what's your favorite book? If you have one, because you should have one as a journalist or former journalist.
Sure, there's so many, but I'm currently reading Atomic Habits. There's it's quite an interesting book that I'm just going through and learning from. I like sport books, so biographies. I also enjoy historical books. There's one book I was reading not so long ago. It's called Diamond, Gold and War. Just about the history of South Africa and so on, and how we find ourselves here and just being a mining giant. So I have interest in a variety of things.
What's your favorite sport, since you know that sports journalism?
Sport, of course, soccer, football.
Favorite team?
Favorite team, Man United.
Oh!
And then locally,
Mhm.
you know what? Locally, the standard was not so great, but
Yeah.
obviously at the moment, Sundowns are
Sundowns
playing good
they're
football.
playing good,
So
yeah.
yeah, I can say Sundowns.
So today, Kwanda Snooker, you're the founder of Kwanda Snooker. What made you shift from being a journalist to starting your own business in such a very I think people nice. I think that people who play snooker are smart and are unique. So what made you shift from journalism to such a unique sport?
Yeah. So my entryway into business and entrepreneurship wasn't actually with Kwanda Snooker. Kwanda Snooker is actually, just one of the companies that I run. So at the moment, it's actually three companies that I'm running. So in terms of Kwanda Snooker, as I mentioned, I was always destined to go into business, and I just have that. I've just been blessed with just having that presence of mind and keen eye for spotting an opportunity. So with the founding of Kwanda Snooker, I grew up playing pool at home. Yeah, so I grew up, as I said, in Makapanstad. There used to be sort of like a spaza cafe type of setup where we would used to go and can play pool and have fun and be there until late at night, and then by the time you get home, the belt is waiting for you because why did you come home? Why did you come home? After sunset. So I think it was a culmination and coming full circle in essence, because it's a sport, right? So in other countries, it's a professional sport where pool is played competitively and people win millions. So in South Africa, as I mentioned, I grew up playing the game, but the shift in sort of like the township economy, it reduced the popularity of pool because I grew up playing pool at a spaza shop, as I mentioned, spaza type model.
Yeah.
That walk-in
Yeah,
spaza, and then on the side, there's a Pac-Man on the side and so on. And obviously that has changed because now our spazas are containers.
Yeah, very small
So
now.
it's a container, and then you go to the window, you
Yo.
buy. Or the only other place where you can play pool is at the tavern.
Yeah.
But if you're too young to enter the tavern, then
Not
it's a problem. You know what I mean?
no.
Yeah. So after just analyzing and thinking, and those memories of me playing, and now looking at the current situation where youth are deprived, people are deprived of that, I thought, okay, what would it take for me to build this table? Because in essence, it's a table, just a unique sort of type of design with pockets and so on. But in essence, it's a table. So if people can build rocket ships and go to Mars and the moon and so on, how difficult can it be for me to put together a table? So I went with the idea, and I thought, okay, let me build a prototype. So let me try to see if I can build this thing, and we managed to build it, and and then that's when I saw, okay, I think we could have something viable here, because having seen that it's actually doable.
Then, like you said, it's not as competitive as it is more South Africa, as compared to the rest of the world. What do you think can make pool such a competitive sport, and more people know about it, and more people have the opportunity to it?
Yeah, I think that speaks to our vision as well, right? Because I think with us, if you ask us what is Kwanda Snooker, we're not just a pool manufacturing company, right? We are an empowering enterprise. So we're an enterprise that empowers others. So remember, I told you the story about how at the spaza shop is where I learned how to play.
Yeah.
So our model is that, so we partner with those spaza shops. You have young people in townships now, opening their small games shop where people play PlayStation, and so we want our tables in those spaces.
Yeah.
So we partner with these traders, right, and have tables at their establishments, and then sort of cultivate and have advance the game of pool. So have mass participation, have as many people competing and playing as possible. And then, of course, we also have the vision of, starting, establishing a competition, which is a Snooker Premier League, which we are looking to start next year, where we're just going to have people play professionally, compete, from provincial to national level, and there they can, compete for prize money. And, you can have your whole, if you're from a certain location, township, you can have your township supporting you. And coming and having and having it broadcasted, having sponsors on board, and just having just growing the industry and creating jobs and opportunities for young people.
So since Kwanda Snooker is such a unique company, what are the challenges that you face? How do you combat those challenges?
I think challenges. Look, I think pool is synonymous with our community, so it's an easy sell in that way. You can put a table in the middle of whatever location, and you'll see people converging. It attracts people. It brings people together. So that's the beauty of it. We want to use that effect that it has of bringing people together, and just growing the game. And commercializing and getting it to a professional level, So I think that's the aim of what we want to do with this, and just galvanize and get it up and running, get it on par with, like I said, with the PSL or football in the country. It can be that popular because people really enjoy the game of pool.
How long do you think it would take to get it to that level?
So we've given ourselves until the next 3 years to at least host the like we want to do annual tournaments, right? So I think by the second tournament that we're going to host in 2026, we should by then at least have some sponsors, because we would have shown traction. And also potentially broadcast those as well, have it on your broadcasters, it being televised on various media platforms. So I think we've given ourselves the next 3 years to get it to quite a popular and a high level.
So then this table, so fascinating. What materials do you use to make it? Do you have any recycled materials? How's the material sourced? Just take us through that process of getting here.
Yeah, so we've brought sort of a miniature table, that's just that just replicates, the main table that you've seen, which is much bigger, of course. So the material used is mainly superwood. Use superwood. So throughout its usage of superwood, and then obviously the cloth, but then the cloth here, this top part is a slate, right? So for this table, it's wood, but for your standard table, it's a slate, which is almost like a stone, like very hard material that just helps the ball roll properly, and it lasts longer. The table doesn't get damaged. So those are the main components. And then so obviously there's different types of tables that we build. So we do have a table that includes recycled material. Recycled is mainly the inside of the body. So you remember the table that uses coin inside. It's a structure where the balls roll inside, and it's yes. So inside there we use recycled wood, including pine wood. And so on, just inside the body of the table. So of course this one is different, right? Because it's nets, right? But then the one that you find usually at establishments and so on, it's not nets. So the balls roll in a channel, in a system inside the table. Yes, and then they pop out to the
But then is there a difference between the kind of play that you have with these ones, or is it the same concept?
No, it's the same concept. Difference is just the pockets, how you retrieve the balls in essence. So because at your commercial type of setting, whether it's a pub and so on, people use coin. So the table is used to generate income. Right?
Also
Yes.
doing a chalet. Also,
Yes. Yes, this one it's a free play. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This one is free play.
Oh,
So
that's interesting.
yes, yeah. So this one you can have at home, to play with friends, family, and so on. But then the commercial one is for where you use coins and tokens, and that's used for business for it to generate revenue.
Yeah. So can I buy this one on my own, like myself?
Yes, you can definitely.
Where do
buy
you get them?
From us.
From us,
we manufacture the tables.
website, or do you guys have like a shop?
Yeah.
Or
So yeah, so we have our factory where we manufacture.
Yeah.
And then of course, in terms of if someone wants to place an order, then it's a make to order.
Yeah.
So you place an order,
okay.
you have a look at our website, you say, okay, I'd like this table, and then you make a 50% deposit, and then you with that 50% deposit, we get the ball rolling with manufacturing, and then at the end, then you'll get your table.
Yeah. So you did say that being an entrepreneur was destined for you. What do you think is so important about creating jobs, not only having a business for yourself, but creating jobs for people in your community? How important do you think that is in society of South Africa?
Yeah, no, very important. As business people, we obviously have an obligation, to lift as we rise, So it's very important. If you look at for this, I mean, people talk about black industrialists. This is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because we manufacture these tables from scratch, and our vision is to obviously get to a point where we are fully industrialized. We've got our huge factory, where we can supply the country and Africa and so on. So jobs are very important. You don't want to just make it about yourself. You want to also empower others and create jobs. And thankfully, that's what we've been able to do. You can't do things on your own.
Yeah.
You can't think you can do it all by yourself. So you definitely need to bring people along who will help you get to where you want to go to. So yeah.
What advice would you give to those young kids, abadlala snooker, abadlala Pac-Man? Because obviously these games are very, but these things, like, you are an example of how you used to play snooker and you created a business. What advice would you give to those young people who want to do something like this, something that is unique, something that doesn't have, steps like teacher school and study, but this requires you to be more creative? What advice do you give to those creators?
Yeah, I think it sounds simplistic, but just think. You need to apply yourself. You need to think. You need to, you can't just be idle and just going with the wind and not knowing what tomorrow brings. You need to plan and think things through. So because as I mentioned, it's not that I'm a genius that I thought of this, right? Or even other people who founded great businesses, but something I mentioned earlier on is having that presence of mind to sit down and say, wait a minute, okay, let me see if I can explore this. So it all starts with pen and paper. It used to be pen and paper, but now notebook. So you go to your notepad and then just write, okay, because that's literally how it happened. The idea came to me. I was like, okay, I used to go home and didn't get to experience that thing I used to experience, like I'm saying, of enjoying game of pool with friends and catching up and so on. So I thought, okay, why not? What's so difficult about this thing? Why can't I build this table? And I started off, wrote notes, and said, okay, let's give it a try. Let's see how difficult it would be to design a table and then build it. And obviously found that it's possible. And then and look how far we've come in terms of from the prototype to actually having a real product out there in the market. So to young people, I think always look to advance yourself in terms of using thinking capacity, I know we have many challenges because we lack role models as well.
Yeah.
So for young people, you're at home. People that are closest to you, your network, are doing things that are not, it's either drinking or doing all these kind of things. So it's quite difficult. But I think if you put your mind to it and just say that you are destined for greater things, then
What legacy would you like to leave behind?
Legacy that I've liked to okay. No, but of course I think legacy, I want to have established businesses that can outlive me.
Your life,
and businesses that can that are sustainable, that can help people. There's someone out there who doesn't know me, we've never met, but in a few years or few months they'll be working for one of our entities. So I think just that fact that the steps that I take, I'm responsible for so many people and I'm responsible for so much. So I think in terms of legacy, I think it's that, having played an impact, an influential role in people's lives, people who've probably never met you, people who don't know you, but me taking the step of founding these businesses, they get helped, they get to have that glimmer of hope at the end of the day. So I think that's what I want my legacy to be.
Yeah, that was quite insightful. Where can we get you on social media? You mentioned a website. Can you just give us the name of the website, the social media handles? Custom Kwanda makes like a table
Yeah, so in terms of our website is kwandasnooker.co.za, and on social media, Instagram, Twitter, all social media is Kwanda, at Kwanda Snooker. That's where people can find us, and we look forward to having our pool tables in many communities, many homes, many office spaces. We must get a table here.
We need one. It was quite fun.
We must keep this one here, and you guys can speak with the bosses to say,
we need this.
So that's what we want to do. So social media, people can find us, and if you're interested in a table, you can place an order and reach out to us.
Oh, thank you so much, Gomolemo. It was nice talking to you. Nzanzi, like Gomolemo said, remember to be creative. Think of your spaces and your futures in your hands. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.